Small-scale fisheries dominate most of the fishery activities in developing countries and have extensive coastal impacts. Marine Program Manager Anisa Budiayu asks if we can reshape Indonesia's small-scale fisheries to ensure sustainability of coastal areas and the oceans.
In the United States, there are more than 1.5 million people working in the banking industry, while in Indonesia, fishermen are even more numerous than that, with more than 3 million people making a living by fishing. But unlike the bankers, these fishermen are very vulnerable financially. They are considered the most poorest population in Indonesia. They generally don't have savings and they don't have access to bank or other financial institutions. But what they do have are middlemen. Middlemen are fish collector and even sometimes boat owner in our local fishing industry in Indonesia. The middlemen provide the market, the capital, and even social security for the fishermen. So here, the fishermen call the client of the middlemen, and they have very strong dependency on them. These fishers and middlemen system have dramatically shaped fisheries in most areas in Indonesia. Unfortunately, most of middlemen didn't consider sustainability, so they allow or even promote the fishers to do destructive and unsustainable fishing practices like dynamites and poisoning. And these have degraded or even destroyed most of coastal ecosystem in Indonesia, such as coral reef, seagrass, and mangroves. And we need this coastal ecosystem if we want to be able to fish or eat fish from this region. In a way, we need these fishers to start thinking about its fisheries as a deficit in bank, the one that operates in a way that let it go back again and again for fish as their interest without destroying their ecosystem as their deposit. To understand better small-scale fisheries in Indonesia, I lived for 2.5 years in one district in Budiayu, East Kalimantan, and working together with local university to understand better the middleman system in coastal village area. Rather than cut out the middleman, we realized that the middleman is a crucial part of fishery system in this community. We then try to engage the middlemen to keep the coastal ecosystem more sustainable. We believe that the middleman could be a strong driver of change in fishers' behavior to stop using destructive or unsustainable fishing practices. We also observe a fisheries condition in Tanjung Batu, a small coastal village where sustainable fishing practices are promoted by the community and by the main middlemen in this area. To tell you the truth, this middleman is the one and only middleman who are interested in sustainable practices. So we then decided to make him as a model for others could follow. The fishers in this area are offered an incentive for them to avoid the destructive fishing practices. Those who avoided the practices are pleased by the combination of price increase of their fish and also in-kind incentive, which is provided by the middlemen. And because these fishermen still also had low access to savings and bank, we also talked to the community about how to get them a saving mechanism and also access to small loan for another incentive if they are agree to participate in local sustainable fisheries management. Few financial institutions responded positively to this idea, and we hope it will show promise in the future. However, for this incentive to succeed, the village will need also a rules and clear measure to ensure its fisheries resources sustainability. So we then also initiate a survey with information that collected from the middlemen as the basis to develop a set of rules for local sustainable fisheries management. I believe by bringing the community a strong message about the sustainable fishing practices and adding an economic incentive and also data to support the sustainability of fishing practices, we have a potential to reshape how Indonesia and perhaps other countries to manage their small-scale fisheries in a way that make economic sense and environmental sense. Our goal is nothing less than make sure that they have a bank full of fish that is sustainable for many years to come.